Seek TV, and I'm about to go ahead and do a very deep breakdown. Concerning a lot, like I said, this right here is a series, and I've been breaking this down about the Messiah, man, and I'm gonna talk deeper right quick, and I'm actually gonna take it even further, and I'm gonna delve higher because first off, as it's written in that day, there should be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof to the Lord, and this shall be for a sign and for a witness unto the Lord of hosts. And as is written, which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Yahushua, and which shows the shadow is measured at 76 degrees on top of the altar, the pyramid. You see what I'm saying? That's what forecast the shadow for foreshadowing the kingdom to come. So let's delve deep into this. Listen to this right here. Excuse the language.
You put them out, people died, them bodies on you.
Man, that wasn't me, man.
That's bullshit. We got witnesses that saw you passing that shit out. How many counts on that warrant for Little Rob here?
6? No, 7.
You see that right there? 6, 7, 7, 6. Let's get deeper. Let's get deeper because what I want to talk about is, as we know, and I'm going to break this down real deep on this video, and I'm going to explain this because I had saw this on the episode a couple weeks back. And as you see, as it's written in scripture, you already know that Israel is as the olive tree unto the Messiah. So, you know, as it's written, that they should branch out, and they heard all over the world, man, the 7 lamps. You know what I'm saying? This is deep because everything is going, the Most High's eyes is to and fro throughout the earth, y'all. And we already know Israel is as the oil, the olive oil, unto the burning fire, the Messiah. Remember, as it's written, he looked as if he was burnt in a furnace. So I want to break this down because it's about the 7 candlesticks and everything. So what I want to do is I'm going to show this right quick, and I want y'all to hear me out. Pay attention to this. Remember, I just said that Israel is as the oil. So you already know this is why I'm going to break this down about the aspect of the fire, because as it's written in scripture, when you translate praise the Lord, it becomes Louis eternal. So I want y'all to look at this right quick. Hint, this is Lulu. Hint, Louis eternal. Lulu, you know, dwelling within his home. And as I already broke this down before, it hint the whole theme of the temple. So notice this. Notice the whole theme of Lou dealing with the fire. And I'm going to delve deep because when you understand this too, you got the show Chicago Fire, and Cara Kilmer is one of the, you know, characters on the show. And hint, you know, that she's you know, she plays a character on the show. Her name is Cara Kilmer, and she's from Texas. Remember, I've been breaking this down that the Messiah is the lone star, in the horns of salvation. Hint, Messiah is the star of Bethlehem, horns of salvation. Hint, Texas, the Lone Star State, horns of salvation. I mean, you know what I mean? Longhorn State, I'm sorry. So you see how all of that comes together, though, with Cara Kilmer on Chicago Fire. And it's crazy because, you know, the name Cara derives out of being the anointed Messiah, the anointed one. You see how deep this goes. Hence why on the show, on the game, Detroit Become Human, Cara is obviously the main character. Remember, she was the one setting fire. Because they used a female, because remember, as it's written, Israel is likened unto a bride, woman unto, you know, like unto a brideswoman. You know what I mean? Bridesmaid. So look how deep this goes. Fire Marshal Bill Burns on Living Color. Jim Carrey, Cara. And you see how Fire Marshal Bill Burns. Hint, Bill derives out of William. So hint the name, you know, the Most High told Moses, my name is I am that I am. Hint the will of I am that I am, will of God. Bill Burns. Come on, man. Hint, Warren Lewis was one of the first, like one of the main barbers to use the cutting their hair with the fire. Look at this. This stuff, I can go on for nights because I want to explain this.
The technique of cutting hair with fire gets Warren Lewis.
You see how deep that goes. Warren Lewis, the fire torch barber. So hint the whole thing where I'm going with the Lou and how I'm delving into this because I want to break down the Messiah aspect of the elements. I'm going to be breaking down fire, water, air, and earth. Let's get deeper into this, man. It is no way around it. Hint, Billy is on fire. was a silent movie back in 1908. I think 1908. Yeah, 1908. You feel what I'm saying? It's deep stuff. Billy is on fire. Hint Leona Lewis, fire under my feet. Come on, man. Let's keep it rolling. Everybody broke that down about Lewis Eternal. Look at this. Jean Lewis, I am on fire. And the thing, too, I forgot to mention, Leona Lewis, Fire Under My Feet, was on her I Am, the new album from Leona Lewis. The album at the time was called What I Am. And it was Leona Lewis, Fire Under My Feet. And hint, remember I already said the name I Am That I Am. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of this stuff is by mistake, y'all. Like, none of it is by mistake. Let's keep it rolling. Everybody said Jean Lewis, I Am on Fire. Look at this. Jerry Lee Lewis, I Am on Fire. Come on, y'all. Let's get deep about the fire aspect. Listen to your boy J. Cole.
Nah, gonna be no more king.
There ain't gonna be no more kings. Because the thing is, let me show this right quick. Look at this. Hold on. Notice how they playing chess.
Need for power, but in reality, he's a coward.
You hear that? He cleave unto the need for power, but in reality, he's a coward. You see how deep this goes? And it's like all this stuff is in our face, man. Look at this.
Scared to take a chance. You see I'm trying to climb. Yeah, my nigga, why you acting like a bitch?
You see, excuse the language, but you see how he's standing on top of the altar and talking about, yo, why you acting like a bee? You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. If you scared, he said, if you scared to, he was basically like, how we gonna get rich if you scared to, throw yourself down, if you scared to make a sacrifice. Because remember during the time of, as it's written in Matthew 4, remember Satan tempted the Messiah saying that if you're the son of God, cast yourself down. Remember that? So he's saying how we gonna get rich if you're scared to take a chance? Why you acting like a bee? Like, come on, man. Ain't gonna be no more kings. The fire squad. This stuff is all in our face, y'all. It's all in our face. You know what I mean? Because hint the fire is light, truth, understanding, wisdom, rebirth. Let's get into the aspect of water right quick. Remember in Genesis 1, remember the Most High, the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Remember that the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So hint the whole thing of hint the water, you looking into the water, the great reflection. Let's get deeper because as it's written, it was a movie that came out, my fault. That came out back in I think it came out this year. Yeah, it came out in 2021. Yeah, May 7th. And it's about a movie called The Waterman. And it's about a boy who was he came to possess the secret of immortality. And he was the waterman. So hint the whole theme of the water. You know what I mean? The whole thing, remember the Messiah is the living waters. Let's get deeper. Because obviously we understand water, what does it do? It creates the reflection. If I just show y'all the reflection. Come on, man. And hint Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll with Alice in Wonderland. Remember how she goes into the remember she was inside the rabbit hole and she was finding out a lot of the mysteries. Hint Through the Looking Glass. Hint water creates the mirror. You know what I mean? The reflection. Hint Lewis Carroll had to be the one to create Through the Looking Glass with Alice in Wonderland, where she cracks the code of the Matrix. Like, none of this is by mistake. Because as it's written in 2nd Ezra 13, which is very serious wisdom, and 2nd Ezra 13:3, and the man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. And after this I beheld, lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of a number from the four winds of the heaven, and to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Hint the whole thing, man. The man out the sea, the Messiah. You see how deep this goes. And then at the same time, too, notice as it said that they were burned that heard his voice. Hence my sheep know of my voice. That's why I was pointing out the whole theme of the fire. Like, this stuff is deep. You feel me? Is that real? Let's keep it rolling. Remember I said water create mirrors. It creates the great reflection. Hint the movie Mirrors back in, like, I think this is like the 2000, early 2000, like late 2000s, called Mirrors. And on the movie, the family's name, all of their names was Carson. Hint the son of Carr. Hint Kara. And basically he was a cop. And he was trying to protect his family from an evil force that used mirrors to cross over into their home. You know what I'm saying? The whole theme of possessing the waters. Remember, as it's written, that darkness covered the waters first until the Spirit of God moved upon it. So look how deep this stuff goes. The looking glass. Hint the cop, because hint the law of God, the Messiah of the law. Remember, he fulfills the law of Moses. Remember, I said the son of Car, hint Kara. You remember I was talking about that earlier. Kara, the anointed Messiah. Hint Billy. In Exodus 3:14, I am that I am. William, Billy, will of I am that I am. Hint, Billy was on the movie It. And remember how he was in the room of mirrors. Remember that. And when you understand, everybody said that earlier about the whole theme of, remember when Satan tempted the Messiah, cast yourself down. You see that? Michael Jackson, The Man in the Mirror. Remember he had this song, The Man in the Mirror. I broke that down on my Michael Jackson series. Hint, obviously Billy was battling against the clown, remember Pennywise, because all Pennywise means is nothing but what the whole theme of Pennywise don't mean nothing but the whole theme of like the Judas, remember selling out for coins. You know, you gain wisdom. Let the souls betray in the covenant of the soul to magnify the flesh. Be Pennywise. And you see how he got the balloons, because remember he told Billy, you can float too. And I'm going to show y'all something. Hold on, let me go back. Remember how he told Billy you can float too with the balloons? Because remember I already said that, cast yourself down if you're the son of God. Let's get deeper right quick, man. Notice Billy had the boat in his hands. And when you understand how deep that goes, it's so deep because remember I said the Ark of the Covenant. Remember I've been breaking this down. So notice Billy has the boat in his hand, the Ark of the Covenant. And you see how they under the lampstand. Remember I said Israel is as the oil unto the seven lamps. Remember there's 7 lamps. And then when you look at it too, which is so deep, is that you got the lampstand burning and Georgie's by him. Because remember that was his brother. Because when you understand the name Georgie, all it means is to like farm and to till the earth. You know, to basically work and build the earth. So, you know, you can look at it like in a sense, when you understand, you got to remember people say like, okay, Cain is a tiller. Yeah. When you understand Cain and Abel, Cain was a tiller. But at the same time, too, you know, you have the righteous who build as well. So we can't just look at it all as evil. You know what I mean? So you see how you got Georgie as his brother, and he helped, you know, he's around Billy. And then obviously, remember, Georgie lost the boat to Pennywise. Remember that. And he said, come down into the sewers. Remember, he snatched his arm off. If you remember the movie, he snatches off his arm. Because what that represents, remember, we got to use the arm to uplift Messiah, uplift Billy. You feel what I'm saying? That's why Billy had to wait till he was older, and he ended up in a room of mirrors. You see that? How deep this stuff goes. Because if you don't have the arm, you can't uplift Messiah. So notice how Pennywise has the boat in the sewers, because that represents Satan overtaking the Ark of the Covenant. You know what I'm saying? That's how deep this stuff goes. Remember how Satan, this is Satan's world we're living in. Remember, as it's written here, this is his kingdom. Satan is the God of this world in 2 Corinthians 4:4. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm going to show y'all that right quick because I want to prove that. Because you see right here, I'm going to get into this in a second. But notice you got the 44 on the door. This is on the movie Man of Honor with the Navy man, Cuba Gooding. I'm going to break that down in a minute. But you see how you got the 44. Remember I said 2 Corinthians 4:4, Satan rules. This is Satan's kingdom. And then notice how 44 represents the Ark of the Covenant. I just wanted to show that right quick. So hint how Pennywise takes the boat to sewers because it just represents hell. Hint as above, so below, the Ark of the Covenant. That's what Brutus and Popeye was about. Remember how they used to be? They both were sailor men, and they used to fight over olive oil. Hint Israel. You know, that's Satan's power is holding the saints of God in captivity, and the saints' power is being in rulership with the Messiah. It's just a cause and effects aspect. Like this stuff is real. But as you see, remember I was talking about the movie Men of Honor. I'm about to show it in a minute. You see the 44 Ark of the Covenant, and notice right when they show this right here. See how you got the 44? As soon as they show this, this is what they do on the movie with Cuba Gooding. Look at this.
Carl, what the hell are you doing?
Carl. Hint Cara.
Reckon I'm gonna take a swim. Niggas, you crazy. Tuesday is color, so call on this boat.
I'm hot on Friday.
Then he dive in the water. Come on, man. Let's get deeper. I want to show more about this water aspect. Look at this right here. This stuff is deep, man. Now this is off the movie Spell, and it's called Fight. This scene was called Fighting Lewis. And remember, I just broke down this earlier about Lewis. So look at this. Notice how he's spinning the wheel. Because what's so deep about that, I'm gonna show y'all this right quick. What's so deep about that, with that whole theme of the wheel, look at this right. Let me pull this out. Cause this stuff is all in our face, man, and there's no way around it. You know what I mean? And it's all in our face. So look at this right here. Oh, that's my fault right there. But as it's written, remember, as it's written that in Ezekiel 1:4 that the Messiah is revealed via the whirlwind, right? A whirlwind came out of the north. So look at Ezekiel 16. As it's written, the appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl, and they have one likeness, and they had four had one likeness. So let's talk about the Messiah going through his forms to become king. Remember, I was breaking this down earlier about the man in the mirror, because that represents seeing the different forms. You know, for instance, let's put it like this. Say, for instance, you know how everyone has a past. So it's like how you overcome your past to become who you are now, to become the better person. You know what I mean? To become elite, to become king. So that's what this whole aspect was. The wheel within the wheel, spinning the wheel, through the different forms to become king. So notice how he was spinning the wheel. Look at this. And I broke this down already on my Power TV show breakdown with 50 Cent. But pay attention to this. Notice how he beats Lewis, because Lewis has all that water in his lungs. You see how deep that goes? Because when you understand how deep that is, it's crazy. Because in John 19:34, remember during the crucifixion, the Messiah's ribs and his lungs got damaged. And as it's written, in forthwith came out their blood and water. So notice how Lewis, in order to beat Lewis, he had to mess with his lungs. Look at this. No way around this stuff. Nipsey Hussle riding on the Ark of the Covenant. And I'm going to explain this in a minute. I'm going to get to that in a second. And I'm going to break that down, but just give me some time. And notice how Kobe Bryant, remember how he had to get on the helicopter allegedly, because that all represent them trying to say that they bring the Messiah down every time he rises up and gets the Ark of the Covenant. So I'm going to show it in a minute. But notice how, like I said, the wheel within the wheel, in order to beat Lewis, to take him from being king. And then notice how deep this is, because they basically was trying to say we beat the Messiah when he was just as a man. So that's why he had to, do the wheels. Remember at the beginning of it right here, when he was spinning the wheel, because remember I said the wheel within the wheel was the four likeness, as it's written, the Messiah is as a lion of Judah, a royal bull, He is as a man, and he is as a flying eagle. So you see the four likenesses, one likeness, the king, the Messiah. So you see how he's spinning the wheel. And then he made it go into the form when the Messiah just as a sacrifice. I can't breathe. Then you can defeat him, because remember the whole theme of the crucifixion. You see how deep this goes when he's as a lamb sacrifice. Like, this stuff is deep, bruh. That's why on the movie Saw 7, you know, Kara had to go get trapped inside the barbed wire, inside the rope. You see how Kara was trapped up in a car, you know, body shop. And then notice how they used the wheel to crush Kara. They had to trap Kara and then crush Kara with the wheel. You see how deep this goes? I want to just explain that. It's all in our face. Hint the whole thing. I want to get into this right quick, because remember when I showed y'all earlier, if it's still showing right quick, because I ain't gonna replay it. But remember when I showed y'all earlier with Lou. Remember Lulu on Power. Remember I was showing y'all him with the fire being burnt. You know, the fire coming through and he couldn't breathe. You know what I'm saying? If you've seen the episode. So notice how he has the coat. Notice his coat he got on. It kind of reminds you of like the Candyman coat. If you really pay attention to this, because remember I said the Messiah goes through the forms. When you understand Candyman, I already broke him down. All that represented was nothing but like the Messiah being as the honey, the milk and honey. You know, the promised land, the sacred gate. Remember I broke that all down already. In the book of Judges, when Samson was eating honey out of the body of the lion, the dead lion. You know what I mean? In Judges 14. So I broke that down before, but hint the whole theme of that, man. With the coat, you see how Lewis has the coat. The Candyman wears the coat. Killmonger, remember I broke him down before. Remember he wears the Jaguar suit. And remember Kanan has the coat. Because when you understand how deep that goes, as it's written in first was the Messiah was as a lion of Judah. He is as a royal bull. He's as a man, and he's as a flying bird. So you see the whole theme of the man wearing the beast, because that all represents like the Messiah. You know, remember it says hair is as wool. So you see how they all have to wear the coat, and the whole theme of the animal print. It's that deep, man. It all goes back to what I was talking about, the wheel within a wheel. This stuff is real, y'all. Hint this right here. And it's deep because Lulu, you see how he has the animal coat on, and then notice what the shirt he has on. That's off Pinocchio, right? And it's not by mistake. Let's delve deep. Because remember, Pinocchio has the big nose. Remember how they say his long nose gets longer and longer. Notice that Pinocchio was inside the whale's mouth. That's the shirt that Lulu is wearing. Because when you understand that, remember as it's written, for Jonas was in the belly of the whale 3 days, and the Son of Man should be within the earth 3 days and 3 nights as well. So you see Pinocchio, and you see Lulu. And then what's so deep about it too, what got me thinking, remember I said Pinocchio got the big nose. They want to break the nose, because remember they used to do this in ancient Egypt. They'd do the nose breaking in order to become gods themselves. Because remember I said the Messiah's lungs got damaged during crucifixion. And that's how they were able to rule the earth, because they was able to take the Messiah away and keep him in blasphemy. Therefore they shall rule and be kings of the earth. Hint the nose breaking. That's why they used to say, oh, Pinocchio nose gets longer, because they want to break the nose. Because if the Messiah can breathe, it's harder to fight him, man. You see how strong he was. See how strong he was until the whole theme of what? Until the water came out of his mouth. You see that? Until he couldn't breathe, that was the only way you could fight him. You see how deep this goes? This stuff is crazy. That's why the movie in 2011, Breathe, came out, and it had what? Jasmine Lewis on there. The actress Jasmine Lewis was on Breathe. Hint Bane. Remember, Bane got to be able to breathe, and he gets more stronger. That's why you got to keep pumping his oxygen. You feel what I'm saying? This stuff is real. Remember I was talking about the name Kara? Look at this right here. Hint Carly on Falcon and Winter Soldier. Look at this. This stuff is all in our face, man, and there's no way around this stuff. And there's just no way around it. Like, pay attention. It's about to come right up because it's all in our face. Look. Notice how, you remember the Messiah said that he got a whistle? Remember how he says that in scripture? He says that I will whistle for them and gather them, for I have redeemed them, right? Notice this. You see how she's whistling through the phone and the people are gathering up? Because when you understand how deep that goes, how do you whistle? You use air. Come on, man. It's all in our face. You remember as it's written that Israel is scattered abroad as the four winds of heaven. So that's how the Messiah, that's why they don't want the Messiah to be able to breathe, because they don't want them to gather up the children of Israel and the nations among them who are cleave unto them to form the new kingdom. That's why they always want to push that I can't breathe. It's all in our face. And you see how she did it through the phone, because hint the cloud, remember I remember the cloud. The internet is the cloud. So hint the whole theme as it's written, and thou shalt come against my people Israel as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter times. Like, come on, man. Hint, Dennis Lewis has the natural breathing treatment. Like, come on, y'all. Books, Because the whole formula, they want to damage the car. Remember I was talking about Kara. They want to remember the Godfather. You see that the puppeteer hamstrings. And when you look at that, as you can see, you got the car being destroyed, getting destroyed, and then you got what? The body on the ground, because that represents them wanting to overthrow Messiah. They got to destroy the car. You feel what I'm saying? It's all car blasphemy. Hint Childish Gambino, this is America. America is built on car blasphemy. Notice how he's dancing on top of the car. And all the cars surrounding him. With the man with the hidden head. You see our hidden face. You see how deep this goes. Remember I said the whole aspect is to, listen to this right quick. Hold up. Formula is to bring the Messiah down. Remember I was talking about how Nipsey Hussle was on the Ark of the Covenant. And how Kobe is, I remember with the helicopter. Remember I said that? So hint this whole thing, why they do this, because they want to attack Messiah. And they know he's getting stronger. So what they do is they stage. Dude, this is all spiritual symbolic warfare. They rise people up, take them out the way, because of why? Because that represents them trying to say they bringing the Messiah down. The crucifixion every time. Look at this.
Where we at, Nip?
Man, we in Tulum at the Mayan ruins. Just climbed off the pyramid, got to the top.
Got to the top of the pyramid. Messiah reached the top of the altar. You feel what I'm saying? Why? Because once he reached the top of the altar, he rules the Ark of the Covenant. See how deep this goes, and they say, okay, Nipsey's out the way. They do all of that. I already broke this down before, but let's just keep it rolling. Hint the car blasphemy aspect. Remember the movie Christine? Hint John Carpenter. Hint the Messiah is a carpenter, the great builder of the new kingdom. Hint Christine with the fire, with the car. Hint Christine, Christ, Christine. When you understand how deep this goes, as is, remember on the movie Christine, William was the one who helped, repair the car. Remember that. William was the one who restored the car, man. Like, it's no way around this. You know what I'm saying? If you remember the movie Christine, this is years ago, but remember the guy was like a nerdy guy, and then when he got around the car started giving him different personality. You remember how it goes. If you never seen it, just check it out. But I want to just explain this right here. Like, it's crazy. Hint, as we already know, the Messiah, like I broke this down before, that he is as the Rock. Remember they call him the Rock. So look at this commercial. This is Hulu. And when you understand Hulu, what it means, hint Yahuwah. You know what I mean? The Most High, Yahuwah. Hint Hulu. All blasphemy. Look at this.
Oh, new Handmaid's Tale's on Hulu.
I'm coming home, baby.
Hold on. Do you see that? Look at this. One more time.
Oh, new Handmaid's Tale's on Hulu.
You see the black and white checkerboard for? The Handmaid's Tale. And when you understand that show, I broke that down before, but the Handmaid's Tale I put on my Jennifer Lopez breakdown. I'm just gonna just put that in the comment section below. But the Handmaid's Tale was all about the forms of how they practically it was all like about women, but in a way about like how women was subservient to men. It was like a society like on that level of how they was trying to push it. But when you understand what it was really talking about, it was talking about the aspect of Israel, like being the bride. Like, remember I said the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a woman. And all it was about was trying to say, okay, how much blasphemy how much usage could they use the blasphemy for to keep Israel, you know what I mean, as being insubordinate and just as captives in this world and Satan's kingdom. So that's why you got the Masonic checkerboard floor that he goes through the wall, because the Messiah is as the rock, the wall. You see how deep this goes, levels of blasphemy, man. And I just wanted to show you it for those who ain't never watched it. But like, hint, the red represent those who were the most fertile. You know, they were like the ones who were very fertile. The blue represented those who was like very, you know, they basically didn't have no power, no authority. They just served the husband. It was just levels on that, you know what I mean? And I believe like the brown was those who was like really, you know, really rebellious and things of that nature. So it was all about how much usage could you use the bride of Israel, like in a sense of building and keeping Satan's kingdom going. So that's why you see the guy got to go through the wall with the Masonic checkerboard floor. You see how deep that goes. Look at this. And then they all ends up on a couch because, as we know anyway, that the Messiah is as the great comforter. So notice how they get away. This is deep because notice this one more time, man.
Oh, new Handmaid's Tale's on Hulu.
Notice how he goes back to the wall and escapes the Masonic checkerboard. This stuff is deep, man. Like, it's crazy. Hint the earth anyway. That's why Carl Lewis, I covered this a million times. That's why Carl Lewis had to be one of the fastest runners. You know what I mean? Lewis on the earth, hint running on the rock, the ground. Like, this stuff is all in our face. And I want to get deeper because it was an episode that came out years ago on Black Mirror called, I think it was the Striking Vipers episode. And it's deep. It's crazy what they try to do with it. But it's deep because when you understand the guy, Anthony Mackie on the left, obviously, he plays Carl. And on the right, you know, the actor's name is, people who already know his name is Yahya. You know, Yahya. You know what I mean? So hint the whole theme of Yah. Hint Yah like Yahuwah, Yahweh. And then hint the whole theme of Carl being connected. So Yah plays Danny. And on the show, what's crazy is that they were having relations intimately with each other through the game. You know what I mean? And when you understand the game, all that represents is nothing but like the spiritual realm aspect. So you see how on the show, Anthony Mackie was Lance and Yah was he played Roxette. So hint Rock and Lance, because when you understand what a Lance, which is so deep about this, when you understand the Lance, as it's written in scripture, remember that one of the soldiers, remember I broke that down, you know, used the lance, aka a rod, like a staff, and they stabbed the Messiah through the ribs. Remember during the crucifixion. So remember, as it's written that all those who pierce me shall see me. So hint Lance and Roxette. Hint the rock Messiah, and then Lance being the spear, right? And what I noticed is how on the show these two was on there, like they had them connected because it was practically, you know, they had to use two men You know what I mean? Because when you understand how, obviously it's wicked, you know, how they try to portray this. But when you understand what it's saying, though, as it's written in Revelation 14:4, these are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb wherever he goeth. You know what I mean? So hint the whole theme of like the saints of God, the 144K men who were not defiled by women and are as virgins. So hint how deep this goes. Why they had to connect Carl and Danny, you know. Remember the book of Daniel, how Daniel prophesied the new kingdom to come. And notice how he had to be the one who controlled Roxette. And Lance was the one who was Carl. Like, this is deep. You see how crazy this was. Like, it's all in our face, you know what I mean? It's all in our face. That's why Lance Stevenson was on the Pacers, on Indiana Pacers, because Pacers don't mean nothing but the car race. Remember in Indiana, that's like one of the big car races. And then you got, remember they used to always play against the Heat, and Lance Stevenson and LeBron used to go at it, hit King James, like the scriptures, King James. And then you got Lance. And then what happens? They join together on the Lakers. Remember I was breaking this down about the man out the sea, the living waters, the Messiah. You feel me? All of this is in our face. Hint, recently you got the movie Afterlife of the Party comes out, and it's about a girl who dies during her birthday week, and what happens? She has another chance to try to get her life together. Hint, this comes out now in 2021. The Bride Israel. Like, it's all coming together, man. You know, preparing for the new kingdom. You know, hint, the great spiritual death, and then the resurrection. You know, remember as it's written, the Most High says that he will resurrect those who are dead in spirit. Like, it's all in our face. Let's keep this thing rolling. Hint the movie Karen that came out. Remember that comes out, derives out of the name Kara. And you already know how they try to use Karen for like so-called white women, because hint the whole theme of like the light, the white. And the whole thing of how they try to say is overly, obsessively, you know, just annoying. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's why they got to use certain phrases, man, with this name Kara. You know, this stuff is crazy. But hint where Karen lived at. Notice her address was 676. Hint 76. Remember I already said the Messiah is as the 76 degrees. Hint that 76. That's why it's not by mistake. Hint why recently you had a lady who was talking about that they said due to the Delta situation we already know going on. Hint they talking about she couldn't travel because of that. Notice how she's holding a lamb. And then obviously Delta, you know, that don't mean nothing but the door. Hint the Messiah is the door, the gate. So I want to show that how she's holding the lamb. Like, I just want to show that. I want to keep it going some more about the Messiah. Hint, why Dasani, we already know is bullcrap water, but hint why Dasani, you know, obviously they say they use a plant bottle. You know what I mean? They use plants to recycle and things of that nature. They call it the plant bottle, and they just recycle plastic and things of that nature. But notice why they got plant bottle, because hint plant, hint the Messiah, as it's written in Hosea 14:5, is as the lily. And notice how the water bottle is in the middle of the altar, in the middle of the pyramid cycle. Because hence the bottle represents the body, the vessel, with the living waters in it, the spirit. Like, it's all in our face. And I want to keep this thing going because before I end this, because I really want to break this down some more on a deep level, because I was watching a couple episodes of Wu-Tang, and I want to talk about this. We already know about this whole thing. Remember, I broke this down before about the name Billy, and I want to take it deeper. So as you see, remember I said the Messiah, remember I was breaking this down on a video about Texas, how the Messiah dealing with Texas, hence the Lone Star, Longhorn State, and Messiah is the Star Bethlehem, Horns of Salvation. Notice where RZA says Billy is from.
Hey yo, man, it's motherfucking Billy, man. Yeah, man, that motherfucker, man, just called me and
excuse the language.
Shit, fucking Some county jail, man. Down south or some shit.
You hear that down south? Listen to this.
Boys and shit. You know you love hanging with the white boys and shit. Yo. Billy. He sniffed dope and swallowed acid. Took gulps of coke classic. Smoked hashes.
And why you talking about he deals with dope? Billy dealing with dope because they want to corrupt the blood of the Lamb. As it's written that we overcome the Masons by the blood of the Lamb. So that's why they want to corrupt the blood. Hint on a Wu-Tang, notice that the construction documents, you know, the articles and the compliance articles and things of that nature, notice G is mainly shown right there on the left in orange. In orange at that, because orange, obviously we understand orange, that's a high level of authority and illumination. Hint the whole thing why the letter G dealing with construction is on a Wu-Tang, because all that G represents is nothing but the Masonic G. Overthrow Billy, and then what happens? You see the G. You see that. And I want to keep it going too. Listen to this. Listen to this.
Species, you cappers. Whole town full of CC Sabathias. You, this is not the 80s, don't be silly. Now we push pills and sell heroin to Billy.
Why would he have to say the same thing? They do this constantly.
Now Billy mama want the judge to pardon his addiction.
You see how he was sitting on the stairs because that represent him ruling the altar. You see that, how he was in the hall too, because all that represents is nothing but him being in a temple, and then he ends up where? How did he get there? Via blasphemy. And then he ends up sitting on the stairs, ruling the altar. Like, it's annoying, man. You feel what I'm saying? It's irritating. Let's keep it rolling. On the show, they was talking about just to almost make a G. They was breaking down about some the scheming of making money, trying to sell and hustle out in New York. Let's keep it rolling. Notice how the guy said, yeah, I got some stuff with G-Rap too. All on the Wu-Tang. Let's keep it rolling. Notice how they standing on top of the Masonic checkerboard, because all that represents, when they doing this, it represents the battle of light and darkness. They obviously choose the darkness to be gods themselves, because all that deals with is the Lewis chessmen. You feel what I'm saying? On the checkerboard floor, because it represents the battle between good and evil, the Messiah versus Satan. You see how deep this goes. So the Wu-Tang, while they're standing on there like this, because all they trying to do is say protect your neck, the Wu-Tang guillotine, take the Messiah from being the head. Let's kill Bill. Remember the Kill Bill movie? That's all this is about. Protect your neck. We coming for your head. We're going to rule. You're not going to be the head of the altar. We will be. Why? Because remember I broke this down before. Illuminati has no headstone, because it's just written in Psalms 118:22. The one that the Masons, aka the builders, reject to use has now become the headstone of the corner. So you see no headstone, just an all-seeing eye. All tactics to take the Messiah from being a ruler. Wu-Tang, protect your neck. Hint on this is very important too, because the guy was a bus driver. As you can see, he got the M on his shoulder, on his shirt. Look at this. Hint Sub-Zero with the M on his head, because all that represents is nothing but the Masons. You see the M and the blue, and then the M with Sub-Zero, who obviously wears blue. All that deals with is the Masons. Nothing but the ice cold moon worshippers of the darkness. Let's get deeper.
Beef do come around, could put an M right on your head. You Luigi brother now.
You know what I'm saying? Let's keep this thing. It's so redundant. But anyway, you see how he said, I'm living as a white man in the French Alps. Because why he mentioned France, because you remember I was breaking this down before about Louisiana and France. Hint Louis. You know what I mean? Louisiana. And when you understand how deep this goes, because in Nehemiah 1:9, remember the Most High says, yet I will gather them from thence, and will bring them unto the place that I have chosen to set my name there. Notice why the ships used to come through Louisiana. I chose to set my name there, Louis Eternal, Louisiana. So notice why they had to mention about France, why he's like it's all in our face. That's why your boy Kanye and Jay-Z had Watch the Throne, and they had the song, Men in Paris, because they was trying to say they gotta watch the throne because Messiah got the French connection. So we in Paris. It's all in our face. And why he was talking about drinking champagne in France. Hint right here where Method Man was by the elevator. Hint the elevator, the one who goes up goes down. Messiah rises up, Masons go down, and the whole thing of keeping Messiah low so that they can run, keep high, So hint why you got the G by exit sign. Like, it's all in our face. The G is by the exit sign, the Masonic G. Hint this right, especially with Method Man anyway. I'm going to do a breakdown on Wu-Tang soon. I'll do it soon. But notice how on the show they was battling against Israelites. Even though they had to use the camp, crap, man. But notice how they had to use the Israelites. They was battling to overthrow Israelites. Look at this. Jizza.
Israelites know right now too? No. Keep moving how we move.
You know what I'm saying? The whole thing with them battling against Israelites. This ain't by mistake. And this is a serious one too. Because notice how LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony are both on the same team now as Lakers, hence 76. And what's deep is because when you understand LeBron, remember I said he's King James, all level blasphemy. Hence why he goes from Cleveland to Miami Heat and then return to Cleveland to win and then goes to the Lakers. Because the Heat, the furnace, remember I said Messiah, look, he's burnt in the furnace. And when you understand it too, hint the whole theme of the Mellow, how he goes from Denver, hint the Mile High City, hint the mountain, Mount Zion. He goes to New York, hint the Garden of Eden, New York blasphemy, New York the Garden. And then now he goes to Portland as well. I'm going to break this down on another video. But notice how he goes to Portland. And then, remember I said the Messiah, the man out the sea, the Ark of the Covenant, hint Portland. And then he goes to play in the Lakers. This all is high level blasphemy. I'm going to do a video on this real soon. Just give me some time. Meanwhile, you can check out my NBA Rig series. But it's all in our face how everything is connecting, y'all. All in our face. And I'm going to keep this thing rolling. Thank you for watching Hide and Seek TV. Much more is coming. Peace.